Trevor, Juergen, welcome to NYSE Floor Talk, along with AI's Corner Office with Aviso. Wonderful to have you both here.
I know, it's always good to be back with you, Judy. It's always a pleasure. So.
Thank you, and great to have you, Juergen.
Pleasure for having me here, it's great.
A recent Gartner survey found nearly 70% of companies believe that AI has the potential to be the most transforming technology in a generation. So as we look to 2025, where do you see AI evolving? Trevor?
I think with the advent of generative AI and what ChatGPT and OpenAI did was open this new vista of opportunity. We don't pick a large language model because we think of them as picks and shovels in what we call the California gold rush, for data, right? And we create a small selective model that essentially captures that knowledge, both internal and external, so any executive in the company or anyone being onboarded can leverage that information and have his or her own digital twin to basically leverage.
We have tons of data which sits around and we haven't unlocked. It just sits there and waits to be done. Thanks to OpenAI, we have now tools to better work with this data, but we're still not there. A lot of these tools today for me are conversational, are in call center applications where it's more natural language driven and where it doesn't really matter if there are deviations in the answers. So that is cool, it makes lots of things easier, but we are looking forward to say, okay, what happens in manufacturing? What happens when we, like here, we'll work with real hard data? There's a lot between evolution and revolution for next year. We have to manage, get it to manufacturing and production, get it to the stock exchange shop floor, while we keep the other stuff on track.
Now, Juergen, you are the head of AI strategy and innovation at Schneider Electric. So talk to me about Schneider Electric and its mission.
We are on the way to become a technology company which is focusing on digitization, digital transformation, electrification, and most importantly on sustainability. So how can we make our planet more sustainability? And when you hear our motto, life is on, life is very important and we only have once to deal with it. So this is where we really try to see how can we use all these technology to decarbonize, electrify, and assure that not just our kids, but our kids' kids and so on have a planet to live on. And that's a really key thing where we use our experience and technologies to enable that the next generations have an earth to live on.
And talk to me more about your role and how you're driving change.
I want to have the intelligent switchboard in every home on the planet, which continuously evaluates where's the energy, where does it flow, where does it go to, where do I need it at any point in time. You come back with your electric car, oh, 65% charge. Oh, sure, let's use the charge at this point in time and don't use gray energy, making all these work. And that is really where I'm looking into is how can we build these solutions, how we can make existing solutions better, or even how can we revolutionize. There's new classes of foundation models, which people don't see because OpenAI is very prevalent, Anthropic is very prevalent, Gemini is very prevalent, but there's new stuff coming. And that's where I am. I say, okay, how can we take the new stuff and turn this into value for the society?
What really came to the fore was, we completely agree with you. Large language models by themselves don't do complex computations, right? So, with the advent of hybrid models, bring in machine learning, deep learning, how are you looking at, agents and autonomous agents and the ability to not just drive productivity, but really top-line revenue growth? How are you taking that and marrying it up with this amazing focus that Schneider Electric has on decarbonization, on electrification, et cetera, right?
I used agents in 1996. And we used agent in 96 to model hyper-complex systems, like an entire airport. We rebuilt Chicago O'Hare digital. And we're not just building the physical structure. We built aircraft in there, we built humans, we built the luggage. We have food in there, we have fuel in there. So you have this entire motion. And so what people today, when they're seeing agents, and you see everybody builds an agent, and the agent does something. But to quote our CDO, Peter Vegas, he said, I don't need an agent explosion because Microsoft gives us the Copilot Studio, everybody can build an agent. So it's like we got Visual Basic in Excel, so everybody starts writing his Visual Basic scripts, and you ended up having millions of mini solutions, which doing not really good, but it's a grand hassle to maintain them. So for me, the way to go is what we need is collaborative agents. And that is the key thing, is to make agentic AI work, you need to develop collaboration, and collaboration needs communication. And this is where usually, right now, the AI guys are not very good. They're more thinking isolated task, job done. The problem is if you would have to create so many agents, which you would ending up being, it's completely unmaintainable. Agentic AI could be the solution to a lot of problems, but on the way to get there, there is a lot of things to solve in between, which are non-trivial. And it's the thing, one of the hardest thing is communication. But for us, it's completely natural to talk to each other. For machines, they need boundaries and they need rules of engagement, and it gets in a hell of a lot of different things, like, oh, what's Trevor's intent? What's Judy's intent? What do they want actually from me? And we can identify this. For a machine, finding out what is your intentions is super, super difficult.
Good. This should be fun. I'd love to show you what we're doing then. Obviously.
Now, Juergen, can you share a specific example of how AI has helped reduce energy consumption or optimize resource use?
You all know data centers are extremely energy hungry, and it gets worse. So we had to come up with solutions. Okay, how can we keep this whole environment running? So point one, how do we get enough energy there? So how do we not collapse the grid? So because we only have so much energy in the grid available. So first thing is, how do I assure that every house, every hospital, every airport, every factory has the energy to run? Plus, how do I assure that my communication network runs? Because if we can't communicate, nobody can access the information. So it's His Excellency, the Secretary of Technology of Zambia said it. I need to make a decision. I have 6 hours energy per day. Do I send it to the data centers? Do I send it to the communication grid? Or do I send it home? Unfortunately, whatever decision he makes, nobody can access. He sends it home, so no energy for comms and data centers, so you can't use OpenAI. If he sends it to data centers, you have no energy to charge your phone or your computer. So, and that is where we really try to create AI, what we call distributed energy resource management. It's how we manage these resources to come to a balance where the data center runs, you can cook, you can watch TV, you can charge your phone, and it comms runs. And this is what we built into in Compass, as we get really efficient data centers which are on lowest energies, not the high energies. And we're saying, okay, de-stress the grid because it's already the load limits, but get enough energy into the data center, it runs. We try to use the algorithms also to de-stress the components. There's the servers, the cooling, the fans, and everything you need to run it. So you want to also push more life out of it. So it's a super interesting algorithm was looking at multiple directions at the same time and optimizing it so that Compass can do its job, but it's not doing its job by sacrificing others. So it's really keeping us alive and do its job. People always say, yeah, it's just a house. But how many houses do we have in the US? And if you take every house, it's just 5 kilowatt hours. You add up how many kilowatt hours that is at the end of the day, and what you can do with it is tremendous. And that's really what we are focused, make the small change with a big effect.
So how do you see AI affecting electrification as we go forward?
There's a huge discussion about nuclear back on the table. Microsoft has kicked it off with its commitment to buy energy from 3 Mile Island. That has unlocked a conversation about SMR. Can we just build self-sustained data centers who do not depend on the grid, and we can return all the energy to the grid to give it to the people who are really in demand? And AI can here really play a pivotal game and say, okay, how is the ideal distribution? How much nuclear do we need to rebalance everything? And how can we also compensate with renewable energies like solar, like wind? Because my first instinct on Microsoft now is, why do you not build a solar power plant in Arizona or Nevada, where you have millions of square miles of desert and 360 days a year sun? But the answer is, yeah, but that's not where we need the energy. And that's where AI is really great, is it can really advise you to say, okay, you need the energy here, the power is there. Doesn't work. But can we put in electrical storage systems? AI will change this business fundamentally. And this is how we achieve more control, and it's more situational control. Right now, a lot is pre-programmed. We have lots of set points, lots of control variables where the system rattles through and tries to find its way. But when we're looking at humans, we are reacting situational. We'll look, okay, the situation has changed, now it's raining. Okay, maybe solar is not the right answer, but rain comes with lots of wind. Let's go to wind. And having control combined with situational and locational awareness allows you to do complete different things. So there's a huge opening now when you bring things together which were previously not together. And that's again where AI is great, because it's unbiased. The foundational knowledge is always there, and we make deliberate choices of using it or not using it. If we revert back and say, we use the entire knowledge base, evaluate it, and then make the best decisions forward, that's where it's really strong. And this is key for energy transition at the end of the day. This has all happened because AI designed the solution, and now AI runs the solution.
All right, well, Juergen, Trevor, wonderful to talk with you both. Thanks for joining me today.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure, Judy.